Hi, I'm Rob Zaucha, Battalion Chief for the Auburn City Fire Department.
My name is Kevin Marini, and I work for UC Extension here in Placer County.
And today we're at our Maidu Fire Station, and we'll be discussing some fire-wise, water-wise plants and concepts. Kevin, why don't you define what fire-wise, water-wise plants are?
That's a tricky question to start off. So, the idea of fire escaping is to make your yard as resistant to wildfire as possible to protect your home, right? And so the idea behind fire-wise landscaping is to place plants in a way and then pick plants in a way that minimize the risk of wildfire spreading quickly to your home. And so the water-wise element is because we live in California, we also have to be concerned about water and the plant's use of water. And therefore, if we can mix fire-wise landscaping with a drought-tolerant landscape, we get a win-win. And so that's the basic concept, is marrying both the fire-wise element with the water-wise element. It's not necessarily always possible, but when we can do it, it's the best.
And so there are plants that meet both those criteria for water-wise and fire-wise, not necessarily different types of plants.
It's a little tricky, but in general, there's no plant that exists that won't burn. So all plants will burn, but there's certain plants that have a growth habit, have a certain amount of water in their leaves, have less oils and resins in them that make them, quote, fire-wise. I would never tell someone to rely completely on plant selection for fire protection. It's one tool in the toolbox. And so by using fire-wise plants, there's characteristics of those plants where you're choosing, and the water-wise component comes in kind of afterwards, to be honest. You're looking at these characteristics that make it fire-wise, and then if it also has that complement of being water-wise, like I said, that's a win-win.
We see on fires plants that want to burn. They quickly ignite, and when they do ignite, they almost explode. Could you explain maybe what some of those plants are or why that is occurring?
Sure. So a lot of people associate native plants with drought tolerance, right? And we have to be very clear that there are some that are wonderful native plants for fire-wise landscapes. However, the plants you're talking about are both native and extremely explosive and very flammable. Incense cedars, that's a popular tree in this area, and that's a very flammable tree. I would not have that near the house. Things like our shrubby manzanita, which is a beautiful shrub, but when that gets burning, it burns extremely hot. So not every California native plant fits the mold of a fire-wise, water-wise plant.
Great. And we get asked from the public a lot, does defensible space mean clearing out my vegetation, having no landscaping? How do we best answer that?
Yeah, it's a really great question, because a lot of people associate the 100 feet of defensible space as kind of a uniform landscape. And it's really not so much. The first 5 feet from your house out, the ember ignition zone is by far the most important. So if you're not going to put any effort anywhere else, put it in that 5 feet and make sure there's no plant material that could catch fire there. But then as you move out 30 more feet, you can start incorporating perennials and bulbs and grasses and things like that. And then above and beyond the 30 feet to the 100 feet, shrubs and trees and things like that. It's more about the spacing of plants and the maintenance of plants than a uniform landscape of a specific type of plant.